When the lights dim inside a BTS concert, something magical always happens. Not because of the stage, not because of the fireworks, but because of the moments that aren't planned. The moments that feel real, emotional, and almost too personal to ignore. And this time, during BTS's latest encore, Taehyung did something that shocked the entire fandom. Small gesture, soft smile, a subtle signal that fans are calling the hidden Taekook sign. And tonight we dive into it all. What really happened during that encore? Why did fans scream the moment Taehyung turned around? And did Jungkook react to it in his own silent way? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might change how you look at Taekook forever. The encore that stopped every army. The night was already unforgettable. The crowd was glowing purple. The music had ended. But BTS wasn't ready to leave. Encore is that moment where they stop performing, and they start being themselves. Taehyung always shines during encore. Laughing, teasing, glowing with joy. But that night something felt different. Something quieter, deeper. As Taehyung walked across the stage, he looked toward the left side, in a direction where no cameras were pointed. He touched his mic, leaned forward slightly, and smiled in a way that felt familiar. Fans froze. Because that smile, the one he rarely shows in public, is the same smile he gives when Jungkook is nearby. It wasn't a pose. It wasn't a fan service moment. Felt personal. Like a message only one person would understand. The signal everyone noticed. The moment spread like wildfire online. Slowed down. Analyzed. Zoomed in. Armies replayed it again and again. Taehyung lifts his hand. He makes a tiny motion with his fingers. A gesture that is almost impossible to see if you aren't looking closely. Fans noticed it immediately. Because it looked exactly like the same sign Taehyung made during a Taekook moment from years ago. A private signal he once used to get Jungkook's attention backstage. Was this a coincidence? Or was Taehyung sending a message that only Jungkook would catch? And then suddenly, the camera cuts to Jungkook on the opposite side of the stage. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't distracted. He looked focused, as if he already knew what Taehyung had done. The timing felt too perfect, too synchronized, too familiar. The history that makes it meaningful. To understand why fans reacted so strongly, you need to understand the history of Taekook during encore stages. Encore is their unfiltered time. When they can't hide behind choreography. When they don't have scripts. When the members show their real selves. And Taehyung and Jungkook, they have always shared little signals during these moments. The matching glances. The soft smiles. The inside jokes that nobody else understood. Moments where it felt like the entire stadium faded away. And only the two of them existed. Taehyung checking if Jungkook is behind him. Jungkook adjusting Taehyung's mic without being asked. Taehyung pulling Jungkook closer during group hugs. Jungkook running to Taehyung during confetti endings. These aren't dramatic, loud moments. They're simple things. But sometimes the simplest things make the deepest impact. So when Taehyung gave that small, quiet signal during the recent encore, fans instantly understood why it mattered. Because Taekook's history is built on subtlety, on unspoken connection, on the kind of understanding that doesn't need words. The emotional weight behind it. Every BTS member has their own journey, their own strengths, their own silent struggles. Taehyung is known for his calmness, but he also carries emotions deeply. He has spoken about loneliness, about pressure, about the burden of being misunderstood. Jungkook is strong, but he's also sensitive. He has admitted that he worries about disappointing people, that he pushes himself too hard. Together, they've supported each other through moments the world never saw. Fans believe Taehyung's encore gesture wasn't just a playful signal. It was emotional. It was familiar. It was comforting. A moment that said, "I'm here. We're okay. I see you." And maybe Jungkook understood it instantly. Because his expression changed the moment the camera cut to him. Not dramatic. Not over the top. Just softer. Humor. Like someone who just received a message without a single word spoken. Why Korean media picked it up. Normally, Korean media doesn't talk about small fan theories. But this time they did. Because the gesture didn't look random. It looked intentional. They replayed the moment. They compared it with old Taekook clips. They analyzed their synchronization during past encores. And for the first time, media outlets suggested that Taehyung's gesture might be connected to a deeper bond between him and Jungkook. Not romantic, not sensational, but emotional, human, meaningful. Connection built through years of training, late-night practices, shared struggles, victories, tears, laughter, and loyalty. A connection that the cameras don't always capture, but fans can always feel. The encore signal in slow motion. When fans slowed the clip down, they noticed three powerful details. First, Taehyung's eyes weren't on the crowd. They were looking toward a very specific spot. Second, the gesture was identical to a signal Taehyung once used when calling Jungkook backstage in 2018. Third, Jungkook's reaction came immediately after, as if he was responding. None of this proves anything dramatic. But it proves one thing. Whatever their bond is, it's real, strong, and it's something they don't hide during encore. Because encore belongs to them. Not to the cameras, not to the scripts, just to them as brothers. Maybe more. Maybe just in a way only they understand. Why the moment felt so emotional. It wasn't the gesture itself. It was the feeling behind it. Taehyung's expression wasn't playful. It was soft, warm, almost nostalgic. Like he remembered something. Like he felt a connection that has existed for years. And Jungkook's expression wasn't confused. He wasn't surprised. It looked like recognition. This is why fans cried. Why armies made long threads online. Why the moment went viral in hours. Because Taekook moments aren't just about ships. They're about the comfort of two people. Who have walked through fire together and survived. Who went from teenagers to global superstars. Who still share small signals on the biggest stages in the world. And that is beautiful. What this moment truly means. Does this prove any romantic relationship? No. Does it prove they share a deep emotional bond? Absolutely yes. Taehyung and Jungkook have always communicated in their own way. With silence. With small gestures. With eyes that recognize each other across a stadium of 60,000 people. This encore gesture, this tiny, almost invisible sign, felt like a reminder to the fandom. Some connections are too meaningful to explain. Some signals are too soft to notice. Unless you care enough to look. And some moments, like this one, will stay in ARMY's hearts forever. The ending that left everyone breathless. As the encore ended, Taehyung walked back to the center of the stage. Jungkook turned just for a second, and their eyes met. Not for long, not dramatically, but enough. Enough to make fans scream. Enough to make social media explode. Enough to feel like something unspoken passed between them. Taehyung smiled again. This time, the soft smile that only shows up during real moments. Not fan service. Not acting. Just Taehyung being himself. And Jungkook's expression softened too. Like someone who just received comfort from a familiar presence. The lights faded. The music stopped. The boys walked off stage. But ARMYs knew. The encore wasn't just an encore. It was a story. Signal. A moment that will be remembered for years. A moment that said, Taekook is still Taekook. Whatever that means to you. Friendship, brotherhood, connection, trust. The encore showed that their bond is still alive, still strong, and still written in the smallest gestures. Final emotional closure. Taehyung didn't say a word. He didn't need to. His smile, his gesture, his timing. They said everything. Jungkook didn't overreact. He didn't need to. His soft expression said enough. And ARMYs, watching through their screens, felt the same thing. Some connections can't be explained. Some signals don't need sound. And some stories, like Taekook, are meant to be felt, not decoded. This encore moment will live in fan hearts forever. Because it wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was just real.